Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are going to be talking about Articuno-Galar, continuing the DLC 2 Crown Tundra guides. So, this Pokemon I think is really good. I think all three of the birds are actually insanely good, and this one is, once again, very good. So this Pokemon can do a lot of damage with a pretty solid base special attack as well as competitive, raising it just enough to be able to just kind of do a lot of damage. This Pokemon can be used as a Dynamax Pokemon with Life Orb or even, one of the other items like Twisted Spoon or Sharp Beak, just to do a lot of damage while also being able to get competitive boosts whenever it is lowered by Intimidate or, Icy Wind or I was gonna say Bulldoze, but it can't be bulldozed, or a max move or anything. So competitive is really good. Psychic Flying is a pretty solid typing. 1 immunity to ground, 3 resistances, and 5 weaknesses. Not the best, typing, but not a bad typing nonetheless. Pretty solid stats. Great ability, being competitive. And yeah, let's look at these stats. So, all around pretty decently bulky, 90 HP, pretty average, 85 defense, pretty average, and 100 special defense, slightly above average. All around pretty solid bulk, and speed at 95 is pretty good. It's not crazy, but it's on the same speed tier as Arcanine, which is pretty commonly pretty fast. I mean, now that we have all these great Pokemon back that are very fast, our 150 to 200 is very, very cluttered as far as speed tiers, so it is a bit slower to the average fast, spectrum, but it's still, pretty fast nonetheless. And then special attack at 125 for a competitive user is very, very strong. Pokemon like Milotic start to do really good damage, and its base special attack is 90. It's very low compared to 125. So it's pretty good. I like this Pokemon a lot. I think it's very promising and definitely going to be a good Pokemon in this format. Not a top 5, top 10 probably, but top 20, 30 definitely could land. This Pokemon also has supportive tendencies, and we'll talk about that because I have 2 builds for VGC. One is going to be the competitive build, the competitive offensive build. The other one still has competitive. It's the only one, but it is also going to be pretty bulky and more so, supportive with speed tiers and stuff like that. But you also have a very deep move pool of really good supportive and coverage. So pretty good stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So Articuno-Galar, the first build I have is the Twisted Spoon build. This could be Life Orb, this could be Sharp Beak, this could be really whatever you want that does damage. I just went with Dual Stab, Tailwind, and Protect, and then a pretty basic EV spread of 252 into Special Attack, 252 into Speed, and 4 HP. Timid Nature, going to be as fast as possible. Going to be typically your Dynamax of the team, or, for that mode of the team. It's going to be a pretty typical Dynamax. Now, this Pokemon actually does really good damage. At 125 base special attack, it's actually pretty good damage. So, definitely you can take a supportive role like the second build, or you can take an offensive build with, it's probably Life Orb. Life Orb is probably the best item here. I just went with Twisted Spoon because you're not always going to be Dynamaxing it, since you have access to Tailwind and stuff. But yeah, it becomes an offensive Pokemon that also can use Tailwind, kind of the same as a Kartana, but more bulky and less damage. So, not really Kartana, but I just mean deals damage, has Tailwind, has Protect, can use a good item. It's a cool Pokemon nonetheless. Alright, so the next one we're going to be talking about is Articuno-Galar in the competitive, or the in the bulky scene here. So it's going to be Sitrus Berry. You could go Wiki Berry. Actually, after doing some damage calcs, a lot of stuff knocks you almost dead. That's why the complicated spread is there. Wiki Berry is probably better. A Pinch Berry is probably better. But I went with Sitrus Berry just because, safely switching into things, taking 50%, turning into 25% can be really good. So, yeah, that's why I went with Articuno-Galar, using Sitrus Berry there. But, yeah, ability competitive is still there, not going to change. And as far as the set goes, it's very weird. So we have Freeze and Glare as I think this is its best, just regular stab move. You could go Air Slash if you wanted the coverage more, but I like Freeze and Glare. It's its new attack. It's 100 accuracy, 90 base power, and has a 10% chance to freeze, which is not a high percentage, but it's still there. which is not bad. So it's pretty good. I like that move a lot. You know, stab, it's pretty good. And then I also ran Tailwind, Trick Room, and Imprison. So you can go either form. You can go Tailwind or Trick Room, so this can be on a very flexible team. And you also have Imprison to lock your opponent out of speed control forms of Tailwind or Trick Room. So that can be really useful if you see your opponent's going to go Trick Room. Well, Imprison, now it can't. Or you see your opponent's using like a non-prankster Tailwind Pokemon. There's not very many anymore, because really the main like Tailwind setters are going to be, well, this guy and you know, like Whimsicott and Tornadus, but still as an option is pretty cool. You can always change up Imprison if you want, but this will usually be on a Pokemon team that, you know, is fast and wants like Tailwind, but also wants Imprison. So I think that's like a really strong like duality of Articuno-Galar. Another option for that could just be like Focus Sash and then max speed and attack. That could be good as well, or max speed and special attack. But yeah, a lot of options. So let's talk about this weird EV spread I have. So I went 220 HP and then 108 defense and 172 special defense. This lets you live attacks from Regieleki. It lets you live attacks from Max Lando. Really good stuff. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the damage calc portion, which it will be pretty momentarily. Speed tiers won't take very long. And then I went 4 into special attack and 4 into speed, and then the modest nature, just because I didn't really need any nature going for my defensive calc. So I was like, well, special attack. This actually lets you hit, you know, like 2-shot weird spreads of certain Pokemon. So it ended up being pretty useful. Anyway, that is about it for that build. Let's talk about these options that we have. So I already talked about items. Let's talk about the move set. So the move pool is actually really deep. It has a lot of really good things. Expanding Force is really cool. You can use things like Indeedee or Tapu Lele on the side. Run Expanding Force Articuno. That could be pretty good. New Age Size Spam Tactics. Let's go. Next, we also have Hurricane, which you can use instead of Air Slash. It does more damage for your max move, but it also, you know, has terrible accuracy when you're hitting it or using it raw. So I probably, you know, I'm more of a fan of the better accuracy of Air Slash. You also have 30% chance of you know, hitting a flinch when the other one is 30, or like Hurricane's 30% chance to confuse, but you have to hit a 70 and then 30, and it's not happening when you use Hurricane raw. So like it's just not happening. Shadow Ball is good coverage. We have Ally Switch as a good supportive move. We have Hypnosis as a good supportive move, especially if you go for like you know, like Gravity or something. Hypnosis could be cool. You have Recover, which is definitely good for this Pokemon. You have Dual Screens, Light Screen and Reflect, and then Skill Swap as a, you know, a weird thing that you could do. Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. So a lot of different options there for the move pool. As far as synergetic Pokemon go, you know, first off, I have Dracovish. You know, the Pokemon gets Tailwind. Dracovish loves Tailwind. You also have Trick Room and Imprison, which those kind of Pokemon do enjoy. So it didn't really just have to be Dracovish. It's just Pokemon that like speed control and locking your opponent from their speed control, which Articuno does pretty well. Articuno. Next I have Stakataka as the other synergetic Pokemon here. Like Articuno-Galar is a great Trick Room setter, so you know, Stakataka being able to do that, pretty good stuff. I like that. That's gonna be it for the VGC build portion of the video. Let's talk about speed tiers real quick. Speaking of real quick, the Pokemon is pretty quick. 161 on the same speed tier as Indeedee Male and the same speed tier as Arcanine. It's actually interesting because Indeedee Male was our best Imprison Trick Room user before, in my opinion. You know, like arguably with Goth, but I think Indeedee Male kind of surpassed it most of the time, it seemed. And yeah, so that's pretty good. It's pretty interesting they put it on the same speed tier. But you do outspeed a lot of good Pokemon, things like Landorus Therian, not at Scarf, Excadrill, Rotom, Form Change Rotom, Tapu Fini, Duraludon. There's a lot of really good Pokemon in that 100 to 150 range, so it's pretty good stuff. But like I said, you know, there's a lot of Pokemon in that 150 to 200 range, so there are a lot of things that outspeed. The Articuno-Galar, Zapdos-Galar, Charizard, Garchomp, Nihilego, Kartana, Durant, Alolan Ninetales, Blacephalon. There's a lot of Pokemon in that 160 to 200 range that are very fast and will be outspeeding Articuno-Galar, which is unfortunate. So you can go like, a lot of the time you'll go like Protect with your partner Pokemon Tailwind. That could be a good option. So yeah, speed control is good. Anyway, that is about it for speed tiers. Let's go ahead and move on to damage calcs. So, like I said, you know, we have 2 builds, so we're going to have 2 different builds. Being damage calcs, the first 3 are going to be the offensive 252 special attack with Twisted Spoon. The third, or the 4th through 6th, the second 3 is going to be the defensive build, and the first 2 there are what we built the defensive build around. Anyway, let's start it off. Max Airstream from Max Special Attacking Articuno into Assault Vest Rillaboom with 252 HP for special defense, and Assault Vest is hitting 92 to 110, which is a 50% chance to OHKO. Pretty good stuff. That's one of them that I was like, yeah, Life Orb's probably optimal, so maybe you go Life Orb instead of Twisted Spoon. You probably do for the Dynamax build, honestly. Next we have Twisted Spoon Articuno Max Mindstorm into 4 HP Assault Vest Galarian Zapdos, hitting 113 to 134, which is guaranteed OHKO, looking pretty good there. And then Twisted Spoon Max Mindstorm into 236 HP, 196 plus special defense on Moongus, so very, very specially defensive, hitting 104 to 123, which is guaranteed OHKO. This is a good calc because usually they're going to be running Koba Berry, so you have, like, you know, a different way other than Max Airstream to just OHKO the Amoonguss, which is pretty good. Next, we have the defensive calcs. Lando T-Max Rockfall from Max Invested but not Adamant Nature into 220 HP, 108 defense Articuno, hitting 83.9 to 99.4, guaranteed 2-hit KO. We guaranteed live that non-Dynamaxed. That is a great calc to have. Next, we have Transistor Boosted Regieleki, so it's +1 Max Invested Thunderbolt into Articuno at 220 HP and 172 special defense, hitting 84.9 to 105 or 100.5, 6.3% chance to OHKO. If you took away the 4 investment into speed and special attack and put it into the special defense or HP here, it would still be a 5% chance to OHKO. So I took that 1.3% as like not really worth it for the extra 4 into special attack and speed. That's why I had that there. Anyway, next we had the 4+ special attacking Articuno Air Slash into random spread. I know, but I thought like this was the default on Jake White GitHub, so I just went for it anyway because the damage calc was perfect. 51.7 to 60.9, which is a 90% chance to hit KO after grassy terrain recovery, so that's pretty good. I just wanted to show that it can still do damage even as the special or the more supportive role, but it does also have competitive, so in like none of these calcs were competitive boosted, so yeah, that's something to know or something to note. Anyway, that is it for the damage calcs. Let's go ahead and talk about the single spotlight real quick before I end the video. So, single spotlight, I went for choice specs, 3 attacks, Freezing Glare and Air Slash for dual stab, and then Shadow Ball for coverage. And then I went with recover, so you can bring this Pokemon in defensively on a good switch, and then recover, and then switch out if need be. Pretty good stuff. Max speed, max special attack, and then 4 HP. And I went for Timid Nature just to be as fast as possible. Pretty good stuff. I think the Pokemon could be used in singles, but I think it's better in VGC, and I think it's pretty good in VGC. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Makes a huge difference, more than you know. Watch me live on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. You know, do all those kind of things. Join the Discord and support me on Patreon. All those links will be down in the description down below. On Patreon, every Monday will be a new article, so if that's something you're interested in, pop over to Patreon. We don't have enough patrons over there. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week, and goodbye.